are StructionSite and DroneDeploy. I'm Matt Daly, one of the co-founders and CEO. This is Brianna Williams, our head of product. And this is Mike Winn, CEO of DroneDeploy. Excited to chat with you guys this morning about a little bit about what we do. We're going to be talking about data-driven decision-making powered by reality capture. And to begin, we have an unbelievable XR-featured mixed reality video that we're going to show you guys. Oh, just kidding.
ExxonMobil.
Come on! Did you guys remember the ExxonMobil video? All right, we don't have a video, guys. There's no mixed reality here. We are StructionSite. We're going to talk about what we do here. Go ahead and jump to the next slide. What is reality capture? Wow, this seems like a really funny question to be asking in a group like this. Only probably worth bringing up simply because, yes, it's all of these things. I think the more relevant conversation for this group here is more about job to be done and picking the right technology for that job. And I think that is very much something that we are all here trying to figure out, probably in some use case or another, the right tool for the job. From laser scanners to drones to 360 photos, it's all of these things, and just trying to make sure we've got the right tool for the job. So what do we do? StructionSite is a cloud-based reality capture software, really for capturing and managing all of your photos on a construction project. A little bit unique about us, built by construction pros, ultimately for construction people, very, very focused specifically on the vertical of construction. Oh, thank you. So we talked a little bit about this yesterday. This is, of course, why we have DroneDeploy up on the stage with us here. So probably just we're talking about the partnership between us and DroneDeploy. And a couple of lenses that we looked through as we obviously decided to make this partnership. And the first and most important just being like, what is it that our customers want? What is the thing that our customers are asking for? Kelly Watt from DFW was just up here and had been bending my ear for quite some time about integrating drone data and 360 photo data, the air and the ground, bringing it together. So the first is just a unified reality capture platform. I'm sure many of you guys out there are very familiar with this sort of explosion that we have experienced of reality capture softwares, right? You might have 7 or 8 tabs open right now on your computer with different reality capture applications. And how can we help you maybe close some of those? So a unified platform, an accelerated roadmap. You know, all of our customers, of course, want us to move faster, right? We're talking about delivering this vision for the future. How can we get there faster? Combining these two businesses is also a way for us to focus on things that we are uniquely good at, and for DroneDeploy to focus on things that they are uniquely good at, and to bring that future to you guys faster. And the last piece is just more automation. So something that I don't think the DroneDeploy team has actually talked up much, but that was very exciting and interesting for us, is just this idea that we know that the robots and automation, the drone in the box, the robot on the ground, it's not exactly where it needs to be today. I think we're aware of that, but that's a future that we're working towards and are building towards. And when it's there, and when the hardware, the price points, and all the things are there, we're going to be ready for that, and that's also really exciting for us. So what happens when you don't have this data? This is just something obviously we think about a lot. When you're talking about image data, reality capture data, this is a group in here that will understand maybe better than most the value of having data for what happens next and what happens later when you weren't expecting it. And so that's, of course, where a lot of photos and videos get used. We're here to save our customers time and money on a job site, whether it's a faulty change order. Kelly mentioned some things in his presentation about different vendors and contractors making claims that may or may not be true. This is your source of truth for what actually happened through the course of a project. So this is sort of a view of when we talk about our vision for the future, when we say like a reality capture platform, this was, for us at StructionSite, how we visualize that. So you have on the left-hand side different forms of reality capture data. You've got in the middle there the plan, which is basically anything from quantity takeoffs to your model to the drawings themselves, and taking that information, combining those two things, and delivering a bunch of different things for our customers that they're interested in. And we started with progress, just like what work is happening and where. How is the job progressing? Is it progressing per the plan? This is still a horizon for us that we're working on. Brianna's going to touch on this a little bit today. And quality checks. This is another place where reality capture data is uniquely good at helping us understand what maybe is actually being built relative to the plan. How is that going to the drawings, to the model? And the last piece is the app ecosystem. And we're going to touch on this in a minute too, which is basically just saying, to Kelly's point earlier, even in his presentation, Kelly, just going to keep referencing you here, buddy, is an app ecosystem is really about admitting that we can't do everything. There's not even any possible way we could do everything. So how do we make sure that we're an open platform with the right integrations that enable this data to flow into the right place, whether that's a CMMS on the owner side or something very different for you as a builder? That's an important part of our vision for the future as well.
Which I think is a nice transition to something that has been talked about in several of the panels, which is just data interoperability, and whether it be standards or best practices. And I think right now that what I'm hearing in the trend of a lot of the discussions is this reality capture space that we're in right now is experiencing hypergrowth. This was said yesterday. And because of the amount of growth that we're experiencing, things are moving and changing rapidly. So we need to be committed to taking off our logos and having open conversations and dialogues with other people in this space. And we've been doing that with USIBD. Philip, one of the co-founders of StructionSite, has been involved in the Imagery Council. Josh DeStefano, a customer and a really great advocate for the industry, have been involved in USIBD and are co-writing standards for interoperability with 360 photos. And yes, standards is a very dangerous place to go in its early infancy, but I think just starting with some basics, like what metadata do we want to keep consistent with images? What information do we want when we're transferring things from one platform to another? And for CPC, the Construction Progress Coalition, I've been involved for close to I want to say 10 years now, and we do workshops and we have open dialogues. We have monthly roundtables where we talk about, what is reality capture? How can this information be more valuable? How should we be sharing it? And I think it's just making sure that we have those conversations and we're committed to partnerships in this industry. And a part of that is we've had a hyper focus in integrations, whether that be with your project management platforms like Procore or Autodesk Construction Cloud. That's also different cloud storage repositories that different customers need. That may be sharing information about analytics. We have been hyper-focused around data and making sure that that data is available to the customers and can be in your warehouse or in ours. Are we sending the information on a set cadence? Do you need that information in your own data warehouse? I think the last part here is really important. It's partnerships. We're not going to do everything, and if we try and do everything, we're going to do everything really poorly. So I think it's really important to make sure that that information goes to other platforms so that it can be extremely valuable to you guys as the end user. So now I'm going to show a little video of exactly what StructionSite does, because I think we've talked a lot about high-level things, and I want to give you guys some context of what we do. So here what you're looking at is you have your mobile application where you're pairing to that 360 camera. There's tons of off-the-shelf ones that vary from somewhere around $400 to $1,000. I think you get what you pay for. Some of those new RS 1-inch with the partnering for Leica on the lens does really great in low light. What you're able to do is you're able to open up that floor plan, drop a pin on where you are, and then walk the job. I think it's really important to make sure that you're walking all the areas that you need to be documenting. Once you finish that walk, you're going to drop an endpoint, and all that information is going to be mapped to the floor plan, and you can simply virtually walk through that project. I think it's really important to understand that you can pair the reality capture through the photo along with your model and other information about what is happening on the job site. Your other options is your simple point and shoot, where you're taking that standard 360 photo directly placed on the floor plan with extremely high quality. Another option is that standard photo. Sometimes you don't have your camera with you and you just want to use whether it be your iPad, Android, or iPhone to just take that point and shoot image. And this is what it looks like on your floor plan. So you open up that really easy to navigate drawing that people are in every single day. You can click on those photos and it opens them up, and you can do all of your comparison workflows with the exact information about what really happened on site that day. And I alluded to this in one of our earlier panels, but we have a proprietary engine that we've been working on, which is called StructionSlam. And for those of you who don't know what SLAM is, if you have a Roomba, that robot vac that cleans up your floors and makes your day-to-day life easier, it's the same concept where you're using cameras to map that space. It does not require GPS information. All it's doing is taking the information from those imagery, taking the photogrammetry to map it, create that point cloud of what your space looks like, and then map it to the floor plan. Typically, that is going to be within about a 1 to 3 foot accuracy on the floor plan. I think accuracy is extremely important. It takes a lot of imagery to be trained, lots of updates to our algorithms to make sure that it is extremely accurate, because as you look at what we're going to do next with this information, it needs to be accurate to be able to tell you what's happening on the job. So typically you're going to see about a 2 to 3 hour turnaround time, could be somewhere around 5 minutes. It depends on the quality of the information that you've captured. Speaking of quality, I would be remiss if I didn't highlight best practices. I think the most important thing here is proper lighting. There are situations on job sites where just your temporary OSHA lighting is not sufficient. It's just taking paths of egress, or it lights in the spaces where people are working. So it's really important to get a good light if the drywall is up and you don't have nice, good windows coming and bringing in light. I think the last part of it is capturing with intent. You are taking pictures. If you're gonna take a picture with your phone, would you take a picture while you're moving around? Would you hold it down low? No, you wanna make sure you're capturing with intent. You're doing it consistently. Consistent data capture is gonna give you more analytics and information, and then thoroughly throughout your entire project. So one of our unique features is our offline deliverable. I've talked a lot about data interoperability, and this is just true to our company principles, is we have an offline deliverable unique to StructionSite. It's been quite a bit of work to maintain, especially as we have projects capturing hundreds of thousands of images on them, but you're able to download all of the information out of our platform and have access to it that's completely software agnostic. It doesn't require any attachment to StructionSite or a 360 viewer, but all of that information is directly mapped with all of the raw data in the back. And I think it's extremely important that we continue to demand things like this from software providers, making sure that that information can be transferred or can continue its life cycle as the building is being maintained by the owner. A little bit about, what can this information do now that we're capturing hundreds of thousands of images on our job site? We need to take what that reality capture is, and we need to start doing things with it. So we now have a product called Smart Track, where you're able to do full-blown production tracking. We're able to take those images, pair them with quantity takeoff information, and then update it, pair labor information alongside it to give you what is my current production rate, what is the variance that I'm currently hitting, and what do I need to do in order to meet the production rate that I had set for that specific element that's being installed. You're also able to manage trend lines, identify risk. A really huge use case that we've been hearing a lot about lately is there's a lack of informed, educated people coming into the industry, and we need better trends and better information that we can share with the younger generations coming in and get them caught up sooner so they don't have to make those same mistakes that we made on job sites the first day that we started. So here's a little bit image of what that looks like, where you have that image that's mapped to your floor plan. You have what quantities are going to be detected, and then those things being detected and then mapped on the floor plan. So you have all the information about what was installed through the image. You have all the quantities, and then you have information about what work was detected. I think that really just highlights the value of site documentation. So because we're digitizing our job sites on whether it be a daily or weekly basis, we can then analyze the trends and what's happening inside of those images and deliver intelligence to our customers and to owners and to our pre-construction teams about what is happening and what do we need to do to change. I think it's really important that you measure so that you can understand where you need to change and make an impact on your project. I'm going to hand it off to Mike to talk a little bit about DroneDeploy and what that software does.
Thanks, Brianna. I thought I'd just check the audience real quick. Who here uses laser scanning in their business? And what about 360 cameras? A lot. What about drones? There we go. It's actually similar. I think that's one of the things we've seen is interesting. Is a lot of those are the same hands. Like for most people, reality capture, you've got to capture not just the air, not just the ground, but different types of data. We want to bring it all together. And so over the last couple of years, we've been hearing from our customers, can you please just bring this stuff together? And so yeah, we were really excited to announce yesterday that we were doing the acquisition, and we're trying to bring these two leading solutions together into one platform. I thought I'd start with a little touch of our vision. We actually just had our DroneDeploy conference last week. So I've got some fresh slides. We launched a ton of products. We've got a really talented and quite large R&D team that launch a bunch of things stuff every quarter. So I thought I'd just show you some of the highlights of that. But before I got to that, I wanted to touch on how we think about the future of reality capture. And there's really three things. was actually great. We saw the digital twin. There's three things in three legs of that stool. In the reality capture future, we think there's three legs of this stool. Where the first thing is we're seeing the demand that we need to be able to bring all the data together. Air, ground, high-level views, all the way down to millimeter precision, looking for thermal data at the same time as your RGB and your laser scanning data. And actually, we've got customers that are demanding even more. Acoustic sensors, point cameras we saw from StructionSites, air and gas sensors like methane detectors. We're at one place for all this reality capture data to come together. And so DroneDeploy working on that to the degree which is an acquisition. The next thing that's happening is automation. And so if you think about our company, we probably spend about 70% of our effort on the unification aspect, bringing all the data together. That's right now. Automation is what's next. And we probably spend about 20% of our resources on that. And that's not just taking a drone, which is mostly autonomous, but making it fully autonomous, making it work on a schedule. Matt alluded to the ground robots. Like, none of us actually want to send our people on mile-long walks through our buildings. That should be automated. Today it's expensive, today it's niche, but that was drones 10 years ago. Who here was using a drone in 2012? I was. There's maybe two. And look at the change. We're just at kind of the beginning stages of the ground robotics revolution as well. They're expensive, they're large, just like drones were back then. The last thing is intelligence, and this is what Brianna was just talking about. Because none of you guys, I don't think any company really just wants photos or 3D models. What we want is the insights that we can extract from them. Where is the work being done? To what degree are we complete in doing that work? What's the next thing to be done? Where is there a quality issue? How do we get the intelligence extracted automatically from that data? Because when things are automated and we're collecting data every day on a schedule, we don't want to be looking at that data. There's just going to be too much to consume. And so we've got to build the intelligence around that to make it easy to get the data out. And so when we did this acquisition of StructionSite, it brings us further on every single dimension. So we go in. I thought I should give a quick introduction to DroneDeploy. DroneDeploy is the #1 software and service for drone data. We're the biggest drone data platform and now extending into ground. I highlighted the word service as well. This is not a well-known thing. Most people know DroneDeploy for the software, but we also help some of the largest construction companies and other industrial companies to just get their data captured for them. They have a vision for automation. They want data on a schedule, and they don't want to do it. And so actually last week we had Turner, they presented, they've done 10,000 flights on DroneDeploy this year, but they actually didn't do any of them. They had third-party contractors do it through DroneDeploy. So if you're a company that doesn't use drones itself, but needs drone data, we help do that too. If you think about our product, the starting point for drone data is, of course, the drones themselves, getting them to fly. If you've bought a drone, you'll know that they're really great at capturing photos and videos with sticks, but you need software to make them into reality capture machines. And we support the world's most popular drones for that. In fact, I think of all these 3 drones, the most modern drones, we're actually the only company that supports them right now. Skydio 2 Plus, if you want to do closer inspections, get to within a meter or 3 feet of an object, for example, a bridge inspection. Air 2S is a $1,000 drone. It just works. You can capture amazing reality capture data. That's going to be probably the most popular drone in DroneDeploy this year or next year. And finally, the big one that's just come out is the Mavic 3. So if you go through the next slide, we're the only company now that supports that, actually working on the remote control itself. I think anyone that uses a drone today and has been using their iPhone, when they pick up that remote control, they're going to see that's going to make it a hell of a lot easier to use. The product itself can get 50% more data than before, and the big thing is accuracy. It has an RTK module built in. It's got a mechanical shutter, and that's an area that DroneDeploy is investing a ton. So we go to the next slide. You can probably jump on too. And it's not just working on the latest and greatest drone that has the highest accuracy and the most flight time. I mentioned the automation. This is where I think a lot of us are trying to get to. We want a construction site with a drone in the box, and every morning at 6 a.m. it wakes up when the sun rises and goes and captures the flight, what happened yesterday. And so we're the only company that supports this. We've actually got drones flying out in Texas right now on a schedule with one of our customers. So expect to see this of growing importance in 2023. There's still some regulatory hurdles to jump through, but even just using a drone in the box and simplifying the workflow for a human, all the human's got to do is go outside under Part 107. You don't have to click any buttons or you change any batteries. This is going to be a huge benefit, and expect this to start hitting job sites by the middle of next year. And you can imagine through this process, we're going to capture lots of data. We're expecting even more, much more close-in data. This is a big change for us at DroneDeploy. For a long time, it was just people flying above things and maybe capturing at 45 degrees. Now with products like Skydio, people are getting really close in, and it's really important to be able to capture the really fine structures, to be able to read the labels on objects. And so this is just an example of what's possible now with DroneDeploy's photogrammetry. You just upload the photos, we take care of the rest, and you can get down to seeing each pixel being about 1 millimeter. So expect more to come there. If you go to the next slide, you can do very detailed tower inspections. So if you're in reality capture, you want highly detailed digital twins, it is now possible to do that through photogrammetry. You don't need a laser scanner. Though there are benefits to those too. I would say there's probably 2 big things on our roadmap. The one is doing better on interior. That's a massive theme for us, bringing the data together. The other theme for us is just higher accuracy. We want to be one place, one unified place to get all your drone data, reality capture data, and one space where we haven't invested as much until now is on making it really great for surveyors and people that are looking for high accuracy. So we just launched a bunch of products on this contours. Go to the next slide. We've made a huge improvement to our ground control points. It's faster, they're more accurate, and we've just implemented a new system for coordinate systems. You can expect a lot more here. We've actually just hired somebody from industry, somebody from Brassfield and Gorey. He's the product manager to Earthworks. He understands these problems, and we're very excited to be able to make it very simple to get inch-accurate data out of DroneDeploy in the coordinate system of your choice. And very easily. You can jump again. Finally, if you jump again, Matt. I've got too many videos, so it's making it hard. It's not just photogrammetry. It's not just getting more accurate data. It's getting new types of data. And I mentioned that on the unified front, we've got a lot of oil and gas companies using our product. And one of the things they want to do is to be able to bring in methane emissions and other gas and other point sensors. So now in DroneDeploy, you can bring that in. You can get the highest resolution map. You can get that down to millimeter resolution, so you could identify a crack, but you can also see where the methane is coming from with methane sensors. And then I think the thing Matt was sharing earlier, like this is a thing maybe people haven't really seen from us as much. We haven't talked about this until it was done, but last year we did another acquisition. We bought a team out of New Zealand. There are 20 people, and all they do is work on ground robotics. And just in the same way as when you bought an DJI drone, you could take great photos, but you need to use the sticks. You need software to make an automatic reality capture machine. These Boston Dynamics spots, you can throw it on a laser scanner, and that's great, but then you land up with a remote-controlled dog, and it's not that useful. You might as well just have a tripod and walk that around. So we've invested a ton in doing the same thing we've done for drones, but for ground robots, to actually build the software to make them autonomous data capture machines. And they're now working on oil and gas sites and large construction sites across America and across the world, in fact. And they're doing amazing things. They're waking up. We've just had Turner on stage last week. They've got a spot in one of their data centers. It wakes up at 3 a.m., and it's able to do a 5-hour laser scanning workflow in 15 minutes in the middle of the night. So you actually can get the highest quality data because no one's there. So that's probably further along than you think. It's still expensive, but we're seeing a lot of excitement from the high-value job sites. So that's DroneDeploy. That's a few of the latest announcements from us. I just thought I would just say thank you to everyone that uses DroneDeploy in the audience. Please find us if you're a customer. Find me or Jay, who's up there, and have a chat. We'd love to talk to you about the deal and about what's happening, or if you're a StructionSite customer. And super excited to do this acquisition and take this industry one step forward and help you guys better, bring all this reality captured data together. So thanks very much.